Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Renault Duster Turbo. Yeah, you see this button? That is for pre-cooling. Yeah, but it doesn't work on the manual, I believe. It only works on the automatic. This is the engine bay of the vehicle. And you see there is some sort of insulation or reflection there. Kind of weird, looks nice though, but there is no engine cover on offer. It gets hydraulic struts, it gets insulation right there, and the design of the car looks identical to the older Duster, the one which is being sold since 8 years. Yeah, little bit changes here and there, like this one obviously gets a chrome grille with the facelift, but that's something we've already seen last year, and there's nothing new there. However, what's new is the fact that it gets this red treatment right here, another red treatment above the fog lamps. Renault's written inside, which was the case before as well. And it gets an LED DRL again, something which is not new here. However, there's a projector setup and everything else is halogen. You can see that halogen indicator as well, halogen lights. So yes, the Duster looks identical to how it used to look before. Meanwhile, from the side, there's nothing which has changed. It looks exactly the same, other than the fact that there is red treatment here on the roof rail for the Duster, and they obviously hired the person who designed the alloy wheels of the Seltos to design the alloy wheels of the Duster Turbo, because it looks very similar. Now of course it gets a diamond cut treatment, it's dual tone finish, and the tire size is also bigger. Rather, it gets 17-inch wheels. The regular Duster used to, or still does, get 16-inch wheels, 215 60 17 are the size of the tires. The trim level is actually written here on the side, RXZ is written on the side. Everything else remains the same. The car looks identical to how it used to look. Of course, the Renault logo on the wheels is now having a red surround. Meanwhile, red is continued at the rear as well. I believe they had a lot of red in their paint factory. So yes, Duster is written here in red. Turbo badging right there, and everything else is the same. How many times should I say that it's the same? Nothing has changed. Yeah. Okay, there is an exhaust tip which is not fake because it gets this nice finishing as well. Meanwhile, the spare wheel is actually placed here. Neither is it an alloy, neither is it a full-size spare wheel. Let's open the boot of the vehicle. 475 liters boot, but you know, there is where the jack is, so you can just pull it out. Yeah, that is where the jack is. Could have been a little better done. Yeah, I need to push it back into place. Yeah, that's how it's pushed back. 1 second. Yup, that's how it's done. Alright, the boot is actually big enough and you can recline the seat if you so wish to increase the boot carrying capacity, but there's no 60-40 split here. It's a single piece seat which reclines, and rear seat space is decent enough, not the best. There's a slight hump here. There are no rear AC vents, which is surprising considering the Kwid gets it. Twin cup holders, no adjustable headrest for the center passenger. There's a charging port here behind, so you can charge something which is in the boot, or if you're sitting at the rear bench as well. Scooped out seat back. I think the seat is pushed back, but you see that is with my driving position, so legroom and kneeroom is just about adequate. Actually, it's good, it's decent enough if you're an average heighted person, and headroom is decent, but there's light placement on both the sides. That's kind of weird, something which you don't expect as such. And obviously you've got handles, but there are no door pockets on offer at the rear. That's kind of weird and awkward. The car obviously misses out on a ton of features which are present in newer SUVs or newer compact SUVs, but the Duster is solidly put together. However, what I really don't like is the fact that the height adjust is very weird. If I press this button, that's how the height adjust happens. Now if I want to put it down, I have to get in, put my weight to put it down as well. No proper dead pedal there as well, and this switch is also kind of weird and awkward. However, nothing has changed on the inside apparently, because it looks the same. There's no red treatment here either. Yeah, there is no red treatment. This chime is going to continue because yeah, the light is on. Turning off the light, turning off the indicator. And let's do one thing, let's turn on the vehicle. But before that, let me tell you, there is no auto dimming inside rear view mirror still, and there's no auto door lock either, but there is an additional glove box which also happens to have the cooling function. Yeah, twin glove boxes. This one is wide, has a light on the inside, and the number plate, which should have been there at the front, is inside the glove box at the moment. So a lot of hard plastics. This blue treatment should have been red, going along with the turbo thing here. There's a mirror here, none of that on the driver's side, unfortunately. I find it really difficult to do a makeup inside the car. Anyways, let's turn on the car. First and foremost, let me tell you something. Okay, it doesn't have a clutch lock. So it turns on immediately, roars to life, and I would have loved to make you hear the audio system. Unfortunately, I cannot do that because they gave me the car so fast that they actually forgot to give me the pin to unlock the system. So yeah, no media connected thing. Let's get into radio. oh wait, it's working. In the morning it wasn't working. It was showing me this thing continuously that you need to put a pin code, but now it's unlocked. So the people in France have finally given me the approval to use this. Why is it making this noise? Okay, let's get into this driving eco, which actually gives you scores on your driving style. Why are you ringing, dude? What's up? Everything is shut. Is there something inside the car I should be worried about? Probably yes. Alright, let's just turn it off and get out for a moment. Oh my god, what is happening? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, nothing. I don't know why it was ringing. But yes, I was facing that issue. Now I'll show you another small issue which I face, is that the reverse parking camera takes its own sweet time to turn on. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. In fact, I got the car yesterday and I am shooting right now. You're going to be seeing the video in the next 1 hour. Actually, you're seeing the video right now. So it's real time. It's like crazy. I removed the seat covers last night itself of the car, and it's a brand new unit, hardly done any kilometers. Alright, let's turn on the vehicle. Now let me tell you some interesting bits here. First and foremost, okay, let's turn on the car. There it rose to life. It says eco mode on. Please stop ringing. Let's just turn it off for a moment. Yeah, that's shut. So it's got this auto stop start system which makes you feel like a hero. I'll tell you why. Alright, first and foremost, let's get into first gear. We are into first gear, and here I stall the car. You see that? Now if I get into the clutch, it turns on the car. Yeah, that's right. I stall it, get onto the clutch, it turns it on. So every time you stall the car, you can just blame it on the stop start system and be like, you know what, I didn't stall it, I'm a good driver, it did it on its own. Yeah, that's right. You can just blame the system if you so wish, but it works flawlessly well. The stop start system on this car is fantastic. It's seamless, it works beautifully well, and when you stall it like this, no problem, get onto the clutch, and there the car turns on. Very nicely done. Now this is of course quite basic. However, there is a multi-information display on the right. You can browse through this by pressing a button on the rightmost stalk with all the information you would need. Not much as such, but yeah, manageable. Yeah, this is actually the button you need to press. Now this is of course for the wipers. The wipers work really well, but this car really needs a sunroof. Yeah, a sunroof would have been a real nice addition. Obviously it gets a real wiper washer as well. The car is decent size, it's big enough, and ride quality is also fantastic. Air conditioning works really nice as well. There's not much storage space, you can't really keep your phone. They're twin cup holders, there's some sort of storage space here as well. There's a 12 volt charging socket, should have been a USB automatic climate control system. Let's get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. It gets guidelines. The guidelines are not adaptive. It gets rear parking sensors. Actually, the USB is placed right there, but you know, it should auto lock as well. There's no storage space here. There's an armrest only for the driver, not for the co-driver. And these are actually the buttons for the cruise control system. Meanwhile, this is obviously for the indicator. Where are the audio controls for the steering wheel? They are actually here. Yeah, they are here. They don't move along. So yes, kind of unconventional how Renault has done stuff. But the horn isn't that nice. It could have been a little bit more macho to go with the image of the Duster. Anyways, can we play an audio right away? I don't think we can, because actually it doesn't have the passcode, unfortunately. That's why it's ringing. There's something known as driving eco too, which basically gives you various information about how well you're driving. Acceleration, I've got 1 point. Gear shift, I've got 0. Anticipation, I've got 1, and I've got a total score of 19 on 100. Even with grace marks, I'm not going to pass in the Renault Duster Academy. And on that disappointment, well, let's just start driving. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning. You notice the car is actually turned off. Onto the clutch, it turns on. Start stop system, revving the motor. Rev still almost 3,500 RPM. Traction control light blinking. 6,500 RPM red line. And I think we're already off before I say how off we go. Performance is absolutely mind-numbing in the mid-range, because this motor pulls so strongly. It just relentlessly pulls in the mid-range. This mid-range is absolutely fantastic. What a phenomenal mid-range. Really very nice. Really very, you know what, okay, there's a speed breaker right. Who cares? Just go flat out. That's the beauty of the Duster. The ride quality of this car is absolutely sensational. The steering feel is in excess actually, because if you go over bad roads, it actually gives you that kickback, which is kind of weird and awkward, because you're like fighting the steering wheel. And there's a jam, no problem. Here we are into second gear, and just see the way this car is going to get out of this gap, because this motor, once it spools up, it absolutely smack bangs you ahead. And I just said it too early because there's no space to go. Where are we going? Come on, give us space. Okay, there's a drag race happening between this truck and that auto rickshaw. I don't understand why Bajaj can't put a turbocharger in their auto rickshaw. I think then they'll have to update all the components of the chassis and the suspension and the wheels, otherwise they will come flying off. Anyways, here we are, very calmly, very coolly. I'm driving this car and I bang open the throttle. Whoa, baby! One of the most ridiculous way of a speed alert, because it keeps ringing even at 80 kilometers per hour, like it's at 120 kilometers per hour. However, I love the mid-range punch. It is so fantastic. It just goes, it keeps going on and on and on and on. It doesn't stop. The mid-range is a beauty in the sky. It's absolutely sensational how this turbo motor is able to pull in the mid-range absolutely relentlessly. Braking performance is also really nice, although I would have really appreciated if Renault would have given it rear discs, which is there actually in the all-wheel drive, which is now discontinued though. Driving the motor. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes slightly more than 10 seconds. It could go under 10 seconds as well. But this traction control system cannot be turned off, unfortunately. Although it can be turned off in the diesel. I don't know why it cannot be turned off here in the turbo petrol. Maybe they had a switch. Only one switch they had, which they put the stop start system button, where the traction control button was there earlier, somewhere around that actually. So what powers this car? It's a 1.3 liter turbocharged direct injection motor, which is actually 1340cc motor, which produces a massive 154 horsepower, right? Actually 156 PS of power. Why is it crazy? Well, it is the most powerful car in its segment. Forget the kicks, nobody buys it anyways. Okay, it uses the same engine actually. So 156 PS of power at 5500 RPM and an absolute colossal 254 Newton meters of torque at 1600 RPM. Well, that is a lot of grunt. Now, to put it into perspective, the Duster is now available only with two engines, both are petrol. One is the naturally aspirated 1.5 liter unit, which produces 106 horsepower and 142 Newton meters of torque. How does it actually compare? Well, this car produces 50 horsepower more and a colossal 112 Newton meters more torque as well. Well, that makes a lot of difference. Yeah, that's right. 156 PS of power and an absolutely mad 254 Newton meters of torque, which makes the mid-range super duper strong, and this car absolute fun as well. Now it is refined, but at lower end of the rev range there is some amount of vibrations which can be felt, but for the most part the refinement levels are absolutely fantastic. Once the engine gets going, feels very smooth. This engine actually is being co-developed with Nissan and Daimler as well. It also powers A-Class, GLA and some of the other Mercedes entry-level models. That's how good this engine is. That's doing duty in Mercedes cars as well. And it doesn't really have a top end as such, because in the top end it doesn't feel like a screamer, but in the mid-range it feels really nice. It gets vocal in the top end in a sporty way. It's actually nice to hear as well. Remove that traction control, please. So fuel economy right now on the MID it's saying 7 kilometers per liter, but then I've been driving flat out, driving the nuts out in every gear. So yes, fuel economy is not the best at the moment, but if you drive it sanely well, it can return somewhere between 10 to 12 kilometers per liter, which is quite respectable as such. Of course, turbo engines drink a lot more fuel when you rev the nuts out, because they give you the performance as well. Braking performance, like I told you, is good enough. Could have done with rear disc. But on these kind of roads, it absolutely decimates everything. In fact, the ride hasn't deteriorated in spite of the fact that they have gone for bigger wheels now, 17 inches. Okay, look, traction control light blinking. My right foot is pinned, but still the traction control light is continuously blinking. So like I was telling you, they have upgraded the wheels to 17, but the profile hasn't gone down much, I think by 5 probably. That's the reason why the ride quality is as good as ever. And now the Duster can also take over like bigger bumps with ease because of the bigger wheels. But for the most part, the ride quality is absolutely brilliant. This car feels super duper rugged and amazing in the way it drives. Yeah, I love the way this Duster has been calibrated in terms of suspension and chassis balance. It's absolutely surreal, and I love the way it's just so composed with great amount of grip on offer. It's asking for some password now. What could it be? 420. Oh, that didn't work. Oh my god, I did a little bit of wheel spin as well, thanks to using the handbrake on this car. Now, this is a brand new car. I got it at just 80 kilometers. That's right, just 80 kilometers. And I'm running it in right now. You know, I'm always very careful and sweet with the way I run in a car. I love this engine. This engine is absolutely mind-blowing, but unfortunately it has got some lag lower down. Yeah, the turbo takes some time to spool up, and because of that lag, actually, it's like the silence before the storm. And that's the reason why it feels even better, because the mid-range is really shining because of that lag. So yeah, drivability is not the best. Further issue being that The clutch is not the lightest, it is on the heavier side. The gearbox is not the slickest shifting. There is some amount of chewing gum play as well somehow. So I think third, I have to fight with third to get it slotted properly. But yes, it's a very fun car to drive because it has got the mechanical feel, it has got the feel, it has got the punch, and it just feels so nice. In fact, the motor is so good that it easily crosses 150 kilometers per hour without any issue whatsoever. Just keeps pulling and pulling and pulling. Love it. Look at the way the Duster rides. It's beautiful. It feels very stable at high speeds, very composed, and certainly the best thing about the Duster is that the ride and handling balance is one of the best you can find in any car. That's how well the suspension has been done up. It feels rugged. It just goes over the worst of roads. Ground clearance is ample at 205 mm, and the fuel economy, like I told you, should be between 10 to 12 kilometers per liter. It gets a 50-liter fuel tank as well, and the steering has feel. Well, if you see important things which matter, ride quality is great, handling is amazing, steering has feedback, brakes are decent. Well, the Duster shines in all these aspects. The thing where it doesn't shine, obviously, is in terms of features, because it cannot match the Korean siblings. And why can't it match the Korean siblings? Purely because Renault decided not to bring the new Duster to India, the second generation Duster, and that is the reason why. Okay, you can see the kickback over bad road. Lane change, super duper awesome. The balance, the body roll is very well contained as well. This car is just such a treat to drive, especially with this amazing turbo petrol engine. Taking a U-turn is as easy as it gets because, yeah, the steering is actually light enough, and you get into the gas, traction control light almost always blinking. I don't know why, but that traction control needs to go. It will make the car so much more faster as well. And of course, it's slower than the Kia Creta combo, actually the Seltos Creta combo, which happened to be faster by more than a second, thanks to the fact that obviously they launch better. You can turn off traction control, you've got various drive modes as well. None of that here. So the Duster range actually starts at rupees 10.08 lakhs. Yeah, all the prices I talk about are on road Mumbai. So yes, 10.08 lakhs. Look at the way it goes. Absolutely crazy. The ride quality is brilliant, absolutely sensational. So 10.08 lakhs is the base variant of the Duster. Actually, it's available in 8 trims, 8 variants actually. 3 variants for the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol, which is mated to only a 5-speed manual gearbox. There is no automatic there. Then 3 variants for the Duster Turbo manual and 2 variants for the Duster Turbo CVT. The CVT is not available in the base trim, it's only available in the higher 2 trims. Alright. So the price ranges from 10.08 lakhs all the way till 16 lakhs for the top spec turbo CVT variant. But here is the funny part, or kind of weird part. This particular variant which I'm driving is priced at 14.19 lakh rupees. Well, that is fine, but the price difference between the NA and the turbo is rupees 2.36 lakhs. Yeah, that is diesel level premium. Yup, that's a lot of premium for a turbo petrol engine, and the reason for that is a lot of the components of this engine are actually imported. Meanwhile, that 1.5 litre engine is priced extremely attractively. So this turbo range actually starts at 12.44 lakhs, and the one which you're driving is 14.19 lakhs, and the CVT automatic costs another 1.86 lakhs. To put into perspective, if we compare the same trim, yeah, the top spec RXZ in the 1.5 litre petrol manual with the 1.3 litre turbo CVT, the difference is a massive 4.22 lakhs just for the powertrain. I don't understand why the turbo engine is so expensive and why the CVT is even more expensive. 1.86 lakhs for a CVT gearbox, doesn't make sense. But for the turbo engine, it does make sense paying that 2.36 lakhs more. Now, of course, if we compare it to the kicks, we realize that this one costs lesser than the kicks by around 2.5 lakh rupees. And the kicks range is actually 1.35 lakhs more expensive from the starting price. So yes, the kicks is much more expensive, making the Duster Turbo actually look value for money. It gives you a nice pushback in the mid-range. But anyways, who am I kidding? The Duster is a dated car now. It's devoid of a lot of features, and it just doesn't feel up to scratch when compared to the modern competition, specifically speaking, the Korean siblings, because they get a lot more features, and of course they feel modern, they are latest, and they have the better style, blah blah blah. However, when you look at the price, you realize that the Duster is extreme value for money because it undercuts the Korean siblings by a colossal, I've used that word once again, but 5 lakhs, yes, that's right, 5 lakhs cheaper than the Korean siblings. That's a massive price difference indeed, because yeah, you get real bang for your buck. Now of course you don't get the features which the Korean siblings offer, and obviously the car is not modern, it's not the latest gen which is sold abroad, it doesn't even get a sunroof or get wireless charger, ventilated seats, a bigger touchscreen infotainment system and the likes. But the Duster has something which no other car can match at this price point or even further, which is an absolute phenomenal ride and handling balance, real fun to drive, great steering feel, and if those are your priorities rather than gizmos in a car, you would definitely love the Duster Turbo. But if that's not the case, well, you're better off buying the cars which offer a lot more features, because the Duster is more of a driver's car. It feels so good to drive, and with the turbo engine, well, turbo kicked in you. Anyways, we're going to get into 6th gear for the first time. Gets a 6-speed gearbox. Meanwhile, the petrol manual, which is 1.5 liter actually, is also petrol manual. Yeah, that gets a 5-speed gearbox, and the CVT is a 7-step CVT. I'm already in 3rd gear. Okay, let's put it into 6th gear. Here we are into 6th gear. You see the motor is at 1500 RPM, but prod the accelerator pedal and the turbo is not yet spooled up, and that turbo needs to spool up for you to get a nice get along, which will only happen once it bangs open around 2000 RPM. So here, let's try that. Come on. I mean, it's still sleeping. It's going to wake up in some time. Actually, the turbocharger has sent a response all the way to France. French are going to approve whether the turbo should spool up, and once it does, firstly it's going to make this noise saying that yeah, you know what, we've received your command, we should act on it in a bit. And now it has started to act on it, and now the turbo spooled up, and now the motor is getting onto its own, and now it's pulling and pulling, and oh my god, that is beautifully done. But yeah, it takes its own sweet time to spool up the turbo. That's the reason why you really need to downshift to really extract the best out of this engine. Which is a bit disappointing, because drivability could have been better. With a turbocharged engine, drivability should be really great, but I don't care, because I'm going to drive it in 2nd gear right now and see this. Sounds nice as well. What a fun car to drive. Trust me on this. Avoid the CVT at every cost, because the CVT obviously will have the rubber band effect, won't be as fun as the manual. The manual is just so engaging to drive. So guys, this is my vlog of the Renault Duster Turbo. What a car, what fun, what an engine. But yes, could have been more drivable, could have been blah blah blah. Now do you have to take a turn here? No? Alright, how did you like the car? Did you like the car? Yeah. You drive a Duster, you're Renault's biggest fan. What do you think about this car?
It's good, the ride quality is pinpoint.
No, don't talk about things which also are with the diesel. Talk about what's there with this one, which is the turbo. Can you be seen now?